Greetings. This is part 2 of the Colorado River from headwaters to the Sea of Cortez. Today, Grand Junction, Colorado to Lake Powell. We're going to take off from runway, well, it's showing us on runway 11. Anyways, we're going to take off today and we're going to fly the Colorado River to Lake Powell. A bunch of canyons through Utah Canyon Country, and should be a good time. So now we're going to give some flaps. I still have a lot of trouble steering this airplane on the ground. All right. And we're off. And we're up. Let's just buzz the tower for the hell of it. Flaps back to 0. Cut the propeller pitch back a little bit. Okay. So we're just going to do a gradual climb here and get over the river. See if we can trim this moody airplane out. Cut the propeller pitch, cut the throttle, watching our vertical speed here. I don't know, maybe we'll get up to 6,500 feet or so. There you can see the river on our compass over there on the left against the foothills there. Of course, this airplane never wants to be trimmed. Well, we got some cloud cover too. There's the interstate under us, Interstate 70. Let's head this way and get over the river. I think that means that's Fruta right down there below us. Referencing this map here. Look at that, we're actually kind of getting the airplane to behave a little bit. Cut the throttle back a little bit more and see what happens here. Yeah, that was Fruta back there. Now we're going to see the river kind of exits this valley and heads into the hills. Really like to see the airspeed up around 130 knots. It's kind of a sweet spot for this airplane if you can get it leveled and trimmed. Kick her up a little bit and trim down. Hopefully that'll kick our speed up a little bit. Right over Rattlesnake Campsite. Doesn't sound too inviting, but you know. Yeah, we're getting there. Just getting trimmed out. Just in time to have to make some course changes and lose everything. So coming up here on the right is where Salt Creek goes under Interstate 70 and joins the Colorado. I think we just passed right over it, or it's over to the right there, but that's okay. We're going to ignore that and keep on course here. Yeah, we're headed 240 degrees. Salt Creek came in right over here somewhere. Oh, maybe it's straight ahead. No, should have been right there behind us. Actually, there it is right there. Just to the left of our float there is Salt Creek. And then we are cruising around really nicely, 123 knots. Vertical speed's damn near zero. And we're coming up on 10,000 feet. A little higher than I wanted, but that's what we're flying over right now is Knowles Canyon. Everything's looking good here. Look at the vertical speed is 0. That's wonderful. And the town of Westwater. I assume it's a town. Almost looks like they got a little runway there. Well, we've got some agriculture down below us, and a bitter creek comes in from the right, just past those round irrigated fields there. Yep, that is Westwater down there. So we are right on course and right on schedule. The river's going to head almost due south here for a bit. And we're going to make a little gradual turn and try not to lose our aircraft's trim here. And we're getting lined back up with the river here. Do show an airport behind us. Well, yeah, that was at Westwater. So there was a little airport there. I had to adjust our course a little bit, and of course then the vertical speed goes crazy. We'll see if it just kind of levels out on her own. And give her a little nose down. Nope, she don't like that. Pretty rugged looking canyons down there. It's the Bighorn Campground, immediately below the tail there. I bet that's a pretty nice area. All right, we got the airplane kind of trimmed again. As we tool along here, not much here except for a bunch of campgrounds along the river. Little bit of agriculture here and there. Man, we're at 11,000 feet. That's crazy. I want to get down to about 8 probably, so we're going to do a little gradual descent. Which will definitely pick our speed up, and that's okay for a little while. More agriculture down there. And my vertical speed is going in the wrong direction. So we continue to gain altitude. So let's cut the throttle back. It looks like we're getting into some more canyon area here. Again, I want to drop altitude a little bit. And this looks like Coates Creek coming in from the left. Is that right? Coates Creek. Not 100% on that. Yeah, that's definitely Coates Creek and Cow Canyon. And we are way up over this mesa. Heading back towards the river here. Next point of interest looks like it's going to be Dewey, where the Dolores River comes in. And it's we still got a little ways to go for that. Well, we've come down to 10,000 feet. I'm going to trim down and try to get down a little bit lower. Looks like we got some more agriculture down there. Yeah, I forgot to mention that we entered Utah a little ways back. Actually, it wasn't too long after we took off. Got a big old bend here. That drainage to the right that comes in there is the Salt Wash. And it looks like we're coming up to Moab. I think Moab is straight ahead, right around that knob that you see on the map there. We've got a pretty good drainage coming in here. What is that? Yep, that's Moab up there. The creek that comes into Moab is Mill Creek. And I think there's some kind of waterfall down there. But it eventually makes it to the Colorado. All right, and see you later, Moab. There's this area along the river here. Has petroglyphs, dinosaur tracks, a bunch of interesting, I guess you'd call that archaeological, geographical, geological, anthropological. You'll notice these pools up here on the right that are a very nice turquoise color. I mean, nothing says toxic waste like turquoise colored water. And in fact, if you look on the map, they are called the Texas Gulf Potash Pond. Well, I don't know if that's a byproduct of mining or what. They're Pyramid Butte. I think that's it straight ahead, just to the right of the windscreen divider there. Kind of looks like a pyramid, doesn't it? Oh, an interesting point coming up is the Thelma and Louise point. I'm going to assume that's where they, in the movie, drove off the cliff. Let's see if we can find that. There's the beautiful potash ponds. And I think we're just about to head over the Thelma and Louise point. Yeah, that's it right below us there. Probably one of those roads. Yeah, that's what it looks like right there. Quite a hairpin turn. Okay, up here is just incredibly beautiful. So coming up in about, I don't know, maybe 20 miles or less is the Green River in Canyonlands National Park. A hairpin turn here. That bend in the river is called the Loop, reminiscent of Horseshoe Bend, which is actually in Arizona, which will be on the third leg of our trip. And again, we're coming up on the Green River in Canyonlands National Park. You notice the fuel is at 50%, and it always is. I have the unlimited fuel option checked because I really don't want to deal with running out of fuel and calculating all that. Maybe one day, but for now, right after the loop and before this turn, I think that's Salt Creek and Salt Creek Canyon. Yep, that's what it looks like. Got some low clouds here. Almost down to the ground. And we're finally coming to the confluence here of Green River. And that's definitely the Green River coming in from the right. Quite an impressive canyon of its own. And we are just about over the confluence here. It's the Green River to the right, winding and twisting around and joining up here on the Colorado. We have a little course correction here. Got no significant tributaries coming in for a while as the Colorado River snakes its way through the Utah landscape. I like to sit and imagine how long it's taken for that river to carve its course, and the violence during floods as rocks and trees and debris was carried down, scouring the sides. That doesn't happen much anymore because the river is so controlled. It's no longer a wild river. Okay, airplane's trimmed out nicely. We're right on course. Again, there's just not a lot going on out here. It's fairly remote. Actually, the canyon right at the bend is Gypsum Canyon, right there on the left. Well, our next stop is going to be Hite, H-I-T-E, and White Canyon. And we're actually making really good time and getting fairly close to the upper end of Lake Powell. If you look on the map ahead, there's a hairpin turn right at the 210-degree marker there. And then as it straightens out, that is the Chappell Valley and the Hite overlook, and there's an airport there. That's really what I'm getting at. And we're really getting close to the upper end of Lake Powell. And now on the compass, you can see the airport, that red marker there. Again, we're back up at 10,000 feet. We're going to trim down a little bit. A couple of small canyons off to the side. Looks like maybe Cove Canyon. Right at this bend are the Dark Canyon Rapids. Now, I don't know nothing about river running, but they must be significant if they're named, huh? We're just coming up to that hairpin turn, and then it's a straight shot to Hite. So right after the hairpin turn here, somewhere pretty close to the airport, is the Hite Crossing Bridge. It looks like an arch structure. It looks kind of neat. We're going to see if we can get a view of that through these clouds. So we're going to drop down a little bit past these clouds. 160 knots, we're really jamming. Looking for this bridge. What the hell, let's get down right in there. All right, we're gonna level out. Try not to hit the sides. Still looking for this damn bridge. And there's the bridge. Well, it doesn't look so dramatic in the simulator. But that's the Hite Canyon Bridge. And the airstrip is right over there to our right. You can just see it. You can actually see on the map how the river is starting to widen up here. Well, we're going to climb back up a little bit. But I'm not sure exactly where Lake Powell starts officially, but you can clearly see how it spreads out. Now, I'm sure if you were to travel to this area, the river or lake is not this high. It's at pretty low levels currently, something about a drought. Okay, we're going to level out here. See about trimming this airplane again. Try not to hit the top of this mesa. And I'm pretty sure right at this big bend here is what they call White Canyon. Outcropping right there. It's called the Horn. And Bullfrog's going to be coming up on the right, which is a marina, and it's part of Lake Powell. Now you can see Bullfrog on the map with an airport up there. Well, the Colorado River has, in 600-700 miles, gone from a meandering mountain stream filled with trout to this wide lake. On the compass there, you can see Bullfrog and a small airfield of some sort. Well, there's one on either side of the river, actually. The one on the left is the Cal Black Memorial Airport. And the one on the right, I don't even see it on the map. Imagine it's the Bullfrog Airport, but again, I still don't see it. I wonder if the canyon walls down there are really that severe. This looks like Moki Canyon right underneath of us. The previous one, I think, was Crystal Springs Canyon. And of course, there you can see Bullfrog. We're going to throttle back, lose a little altitude here, which means we're going to gain some speed. And that is Bullfrog. And the separate little water to the left there looks like Halls Creek Bay, fed by Halls Creek. All right, well, that's enough of Bullfrog. Let's continue along here. I'm going to give it a little trim up, a little more throttle. And we've actually got a mountain straight ahead. That's interesting. Let's see if I can figure out what that is. Navajo Mountain, I believe. So yeah, I'm going to say that's Navajo Mountain. Got a major tributary coming in here from the left, which is the San Juan River. Just beyond the San Juan River is we're going to ultimately land in the main part of Lake Powell. So we're getting there. Now we've got this drainage coming in from the right. It is the Escalante River that comes in. Again, the San Juan's going to be coming in from the left. And after that, we're going to find the main part of Lake Powell is not too much further. Navajo Mountain straight ahead. That's a great view of the San Juan from the left, Colorado on the right, Navajo Mountain. Some crazy hairpin turns there. You can see them out the window. And that's funny how nature takes its course. Instead of just cutting straight across, it's got to do a couple of 180s. 1, 2, 3, 4 180s. Alrighty, now we're going to think about landing at some point here. I'm going to check my map. And we're dropping down at 5,500 feet. It's a nice little butte right there. The butte of a butte. I'm not sure what level the lake is at. I guess I should check on that. 3,652 feet. So we're going to be aiming for 3,600 here when we bring this thing down. It's a good number to know. It looks to me like the main part of the lake is up about 10 miles. I bet the lake looks nothing like this right now, much lower. And we're just going to keep going. And we're going to get all the way to Arizona. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're only 400 feet above the water here. We're going to climb up just a wee bit until we pick a spot to actually land. All right, we're high enough now. Like, yeah, speak for yourself. Where we're going to land is Wawee Bay. And I want to land and park over by the marina because that's on the Arizona side. We're at 5,000 feet, so we're going to have to drop almost 2,000 to land this, 1,500 anyways. If you look to the left, that's the Arizona border right there. I wonder if it's where that gray line is. Isn't that silly looking? All right, now we're going to head for Wawee Bay. It's that water straight ahead. And we're going to come in from the western edge of it. We're going to cut the throttle, cut our prop pitch, and we're going to lose some altitude. And we're going to aim for that marina down there. Remember, the lake level's at 3,600 feet. We're going to circle over that rock outcropping and then line up for our approach. Okay, we got about 1,000 feet. All right, now we're going to go full flap. Okay, so there's some weird anomaly there. I guess this is water. I'm going to call that a good landing. If we ever stop. Welcome to Arizona. So that's the end of today's flight. I hope you enjoyed this. This is the end of part 2. Part 3 will be from this same location through the Grand Canyon and probably land in somewhere along Lake Havasu, somewhere over there. Again, if there's anything you want to see in a future flight, places of interest anywhere around the world, leave me a comment in the comment section. It's been fun. We'll see you next time.